But first, I'd like to welcome back to the record show Mr. Steve Brown. You may remember him before. We've talked about RUSHFest Scotland and the tribute album Songs for Neil. Well, Steve is back with a brand new entry into this tribute to Neil. Steve, good day to you, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, Jim. Thanks for having me back on.
It's great to have you back. This is a project that you were involved with that I am so behind you on this. It's great that you are putting this together. A little bit of history though. When was the first volume of this tribute? That was what, about a year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it would have been, well, the idea came to me in, I believe it was June 2020. And there you go, that's volume one.
Yep.
I organise an annual fan convention here in Scotland for Rush, the Canadian power trio. There are enough fans in Scotland to justify putting on an annual fan convention. Usually it's a couple of hundred, mainly middle-aged guys celebrating the life and work of the best band ever. And we just get together and there's some tribute bands playing, and we auction off some Rush goodies and just have a great day, and we raise money for charity in the process. So if when you go to our website, you'll see like we're quite proud and quite amazed at the amount we've raised over the years, and they've all been the donations we've made to charities in the name of Rush. So when lockdown happened, obviously we couldn't have our event, so we actually did an online event in 2020 and we raised some money that way. And then about a month or so after that, I just had an idea. I thought I could put together an album, because through doing the annual fan convention, I've been in touch with a lot of Rush tribute bands. I'm in one myself. So I just got in touch with them all and said, look, who's up for submitting a recording? And the idea was born. Tributes, songs for Neil. So these are albums of Rush covers played mainly by Rush tribute bands from around the world, and it's a labor of love. It's been a great experience, and listening to some of the recordings, and some people have done different versions of Rush songs as well. So it's fascinating. I've been really enjoying the process. And even from like day one, I realized this has legs, as they say. So I called the first one Volume 1 in anticipation. So Volume 2 came out last year, although the vinyl has just landed. So,
which is the reason that you and I are talking today, is the fact that we have been eagerly anticipating the availability of the vinyl for Volume 2. Tell us a little bit about this. This is called The Stars Look Down and Songs for Neil, Volume 2, a great tribute.
Exactly.
Tell me what's the makeup of this? I'd love to get all of it from you, from the bands to the music covered to the artwork. It's all just hopefully another beautiful package like the first.
It's just, let's say, I was the release dates are Neil Peart's birthday. As most will, if any Rush fans watching this will know, that the drummer Neil Peart was sadly taken from us in January 2020. He had glioblastoma, a brain tumor, which no one knew about apart from close friends and family. So the news came as a real shock to the community. So hence Songs for Neil. So the first one came out in 12th of September 2020, Volume 1, which you showed a minute ago. And we were so proud of this cover. This is, people will recognize the dog and the hydrant from the Signals album cover. The portrait was done by a fantastic Scottish artist called Charlie Roy, and the whole package was put together by a top graphic designer that we use for everything to do with RUSHFest Scotland, a chap called Paul Tippett. But we also, I was speaking to Hugh Syme, who's done all of Rush's art since 1975, talking to him about coming across to be our VIP in person for RUSHFest Scotland 2020. So I ran this past him and he gave us some top tips. He told us red was Neil's favourite colour, so we brought it out in beautiful red vinyl. So it's just wonderful the way things all come together, and we're getting Hugh and Terry Brown's been involved as well. Hugh and Terry gave us their some liner notes for Volume 1. So we're so humbled to have these guys that worked with Rush actually involved in these albums as well. So Volume 2, release date 12 September 2021. So the CDs came out on the actual release date, and digital downloads came out on the actual release date, but there is a worldwide backlog in vinyl manufacturing. So here we are in March 2022, and the vinyl has just landed. So literally just the other day, the vinyl for Volume 2 arrived. So here's the cover for Volume 2. Again, another joint project by Charlie Roy and Paul Tippett. People recognise the owl, Flying by Night owl on the back there, and a stunning portrait of Neil again inside. And this time we have liner notes by Nancy Peart, Neil's sister, who is writing on behalf of herself and her mum, their mum. So, and once again, all profits go to the Glioblastoma Foundation in the USA. They have a Neil Peart Research Award. So half of all profits go there, and the other half go to Cancer Support Scotland here in the UK. For all of these albums, the profits are split between those charities.
Okay, great. It looks beautiful. And this one's on blue vinyl, correct?
Blue marble vinyl, as they call it, yes. So this is, again, when I opened this up the other day, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And it's quite a heavy weight, I reckon about 140 grams. So it sounds wonderful. The guys at I'll give them a plug. Dunk Pressing in Belgium are the manufacturers of this one, and they've done an amazing job. They mastered it for vinyl as well. The test pressing sounded wonderful, but just the other day was my first time hearing it on the blue vinyl, and it sounds absolutely wonderful. It's a good heavyweight coloured vinyl.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the music contained on there. The digital and the CD version that was released last September had, what was that? Probably about 16, 17 songs? 17 songs.
Yes, 17. You're quite right. I brought it here for my reference.
couldn't quite fit that on the vinyl, so you guys had to make some choices to knock that down to the vinyl. So what do we get on the vinyl version of The Stars Look Down?
Exactly. Well, jumping back slightly, the reason we put out the request to tribute bands that we know, and on our Facebook pages, anyone would like to submit a track, submit, and then I've got the wonderful job of sifting through them, and almost everything submitted will be on the album. But because it's for charity, we don't want to, I'm not saying waste money, but we're keeping it to a single LP, both times single. So you're limited by the space, the time, about 45 minutes in total. But for the CD and digital, sky's the limit kind of thing. This is actually a double CD, so we could afford to make a double CD. So CD 1 has 8 tracks, and those are the 8 tracks that are on the vinyl. I chose studio tracks, so there wouldn't be any live tracks on the vinyl. We basically want the vinyl to have the best quality that's possible. So for the bands and folks like Jacob Moon, who may well be known to the Rush community. He's an outstanding singer-songwriter in his own right, but he's well known to the Rush fans for his cover of Subdivisions, which he did in 2008. So between Jacob and the tribute band's studio recordings, most of them went on the vinyl. So disc 1 has 8 tracks. Those are the 8 tracks on the vinyl. And then disc 2 has an additional 9 songs. But the deal being, if you buy the vinyl, you will also get the full album, all 17 songs, as a download.
So you will get all the music, but you get the vinyl, which is going to sound great. Not that the other ones aren't, but I'm a vinyl guy too, so we got to love that. So we're looking at the tracks on the vinyl are, I'm looking at the list here: Anthem, Kid Gloves, New World Man, Natural Science. It's a personal favorite right there. Tom Sawyer, Mission, Ghost of a Chance, and Caravan. So it runs the gamut of the catalog as far as timeline goes.
Yeah, I tried to look at that as well. Try and have a good selection of countries for a start. You want it to be spread across. Looking at it here, we've got USA, Brazil, Canada, and Scotland on the vinyl. We've actually got 2 tracks from each country, just the way it worked out. 8 different bands, and yeah, like as you say, we've got something from 8 different albums, ranging from the second album, Fly By Night, which I believe is 74. I hope I get the years right. Right through to Caravan, which was off their last album, Clockwork Angels, 2012. So yeah, and you mentioned Natural Signs. So is that your favorite era, the 80s?
That's it's from my favorite album. Permanent Waves is going to be there for me, and for me, that's kind of a perfect album front to back. So I like that one. I'm glad to see that was included, because that's just a beautiful song in and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. I mean, it's a bit of an epic, isn't it? It's a stunning song. We attempt. I'll always say attempt to play that one in my Rush tribute band, and it is a pleasure because it's got crowd participation as well. You know, the bit at the end, the crowd always kind of chants along. Is great. It's a wonderful song, and especially by the time you get to that point in the song, you know, you breathe a bit of relief because you've got through it. Everyone singing along. It ticks a lot of boxes. That song, wonderful.
Little vinyl nerd side note: the original pressings of that have a locked groove at the end, so the waves crash and crash and crash for quite some time at the end. So
you know what? I actually know that, a locked groove. Now that's what it's called. Great.
Yep.
Well, you know that happens on the original Fly By Night as well.
Yes, with the bells tinkling in the background. Yep.
Is that from? Oh, better get the track right. Is that the end of Bytor?
That's the end of Bytor. Oh, here we're geeking out here, man.
Oh, I'm glad we got it right. I hope we're right. But
well, if we don't, there's some other ones that are notches above us that'll call us out.
Exactly. The notes will be coming in. But I'm pretty sure though, because when I bought one of the reissues, that's one of the first things I went to. Being a geek on the vinyl, I don't think they have the locked groove on the reissue. Sadly.
Oh.
You know what I mean? But it's supposed to be a remaster, reissue, all singing, all dancing, super duper deluxe. They missed that out, which is, I think I'm right in saying that. I'm going to have to go and play that in a minute.
Me too. I may have been speaking out of turn, but we'll go back and check down the line.
I'm going to double check on the permanent waves as well. You're right. You know.
Well, let's get back to the project at hand. Now, both of these, Volume 1 and Volume 2, were strictly limited. We're talking 500 each. Correct. So that makes it a little kind of a good get for vinyl collectors and big Rush fans to get. Now, the first one sold out fairly quickly. Where are you as of the recording of this in March, as the vinyl's coming out? Where do you stand with the availability on Volume 2?
Right now, I've got 150 left. I've got 150 copies, or thereabouts, approximately, you know, ballpark figure. But now that the vinyl has landed, I'll start punting it again, and it doesn't need much promotion. It sells itself, you know. And you've been a great help as well in help with the American orders. You know, can't thank you enough for that, mate. It's really
my pleasure to do. Yeah. Now, if folks are curious about the vinyl version, the CD, the digital, and there's a print we'll talk about here in a second, they can head over to your website. We'll put that up, and we'll put a link in the description below to rushfestscotland.co.uk. And from there, it takes you to a Bandcamp purchase page, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Initially, in fact, right up until the vinyl landed, I was dealing with all the Volume 2 sales directly. But Bandcamp is a great help, mainly from the digital point of view, because when anyone would come to me to buy any format, they would get the digital download. So I would personally email them with a link to stream and download the digital copy. Bandcamp obviously deal with that. You know, the minute they pay the money, they get access to the digital copy right away. And then I will process the physical order within.
And how much are we looking at for each of the items? And I know roughly we're talking international monetary conversion here. So.
Yes, of course. Well, hopefully you can do the conversion right now, because I just know the British prices at 15 Great British pounds for the double CD, which in dollars is, I mean, right now the exchange rate's pretty bad for us, I think. So I think what do you reckon that is at the moment? Should we get the abacus out?
We probably should, because I'd have to call it up too. I'm not up on that.
I'm going to say roughly $20.
Okay.
Roughly, because we're not, you know, in days gone by, it used to be kind of 2 to 1. But right now, you know, let's not get into politics, but our country's going to the dogs.
Things are odd over here too. So.
Oh man, totally. I mean, that's another reason this took so long to reach me. it landed in customs. It stayed there for a week,
Oh,
you know, because of Brexit or Brexit, as we like to say, which I'm sure we can get away with on YouTube.
we can.
And then the vinyl is £20 GBP bound. So I'll just say $25, you know.
Okay.
But Bandcamp being Bandcamp, that's like you can pay more if you like.
Well, and that's another important thing to mention here is the fact that a great deal of the money that folks will be paying for whatever version you want to get is going to the charities that you mentioned earlier.
All profit goes to the charities.
All
Absolutely.
profits to the
Yeah,
charities.
all
Good.
profit to charities. So and then your shipping's on top of that, and Bandcamp works that out for you. So at the moment, I've only donated from the sales of Volume 1, and it worked out at $5,000 went to the glioblastoma, and I think the equivalent back then was £3,000 or £3,500 went to Cancer Support Scotland. Once I process the first batch of vinyl orders, I will have another bunch of money ready to go, because obviously I've got to calculate shipping costs and customs prices, etc. to pay. Once all my these initial expenses are done, I'll have a figure, and then I'll split that between the two charities for another payout. So
that actually works. And as you said, through Bandcamp, people can even give more, which would then go to the charities, which is
exactly
a great move on your part.
Yeah, I mean, Bandcamp take a cut, which is fair enough, but that is a big help. And let's say most of the orders have gone before Bandcamp. So yeah.
Now let's talk a little background here, because for folks here in the States, this is where you and I kind of really met and hashed this out over the past year or so, which is great. I'm happy, just more than happy to be helping you out with this, is the fact that we're going to be handling the US bound shipping for US orders from our store here in Midland, Michigan. So the bulk, and that helps save people a little bit on the vinyl and allows more to go to charity.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the figures are still it's still quite a lot for us to ship to America. So the figures are still quite high. So until we get this, put it this way, for Volume 3, which is in the pipeline right now, let's a little sneak preview, simply because, I mean, Volume 1 and Volume 2, I had to wait, well, we still have to wait 6 months for the vinyl to come through. So in anticipation of that, I'm working on Volume 3 now. So hopefully the vinyl lands in September. So on the release date, I have everything ready to go. And this being the first time I'm sending you a bulk load of the vinyl for Volume 2. Well, let's see how all it works out expenses wise, and then then for Volume 3, touch wood, I can lower the US shipping charges. You know, so right now I've had to keep them, you know, fairly high, because that's how much I get charged by the British Postal Service per copy. But once we know what's happening, I can bring the prices down for Volume 3. Touch wood, all going well. Thanks to you. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And now you've let the cat out of the bag, because 3 is a magic number, isn't it? And especially when you're dealing with Rush. So that was important to you to get to this. So tell us a little bit about what is up next after Volume 2.
Well, we're working on it right now, and I mentioned Hugh Syme earlier, and we're still talking about him. He and Terry were going to be our VIPs in person coming across for RUSHFest Scotland in May 2020. That didn't happen. 2021 didn't happen. We are having an event in this year in May 2022 in Glasgow, Scotland. Excuse me. Terry's not coming across. Hopefully he'll be up for next year. Hugh is still trying to come across. Hugh is desperate to come and visit Scotland. He's a lovely, lovely guy. So is Terry. They're such down-to-earth guys and up for a good blether on the phone. So I mentioned to Hugh about Volume 3, and he's credited, and he gave us help with art direction for Volumes 1 and 2. But for Volume 3, you know, you don't ask, you don't get. I went, Hugh, what do you think? Would you be up for it? And he went, yeah. In fact, I didn't even say yes. He just started talking right away about ideas. So his proviso being, if he's doing it all, because obviously he needs to be in charge of the whole package. So scoop, Hugh Syme is doing all of the artwork for Volume 3. So
that is just fantastic.
Incredibly. And I've seen the cover. Have I sent you a copy of the cover yet?
You did, yes.
Okay, so mum's the word. Mum's the word. Yes.
Yep. I saw it, and
so all that's together, and it's like 3 is a great number, like you say. This is going to be Volume 3. this year is Neil's 70th birthday. So it's a special anniversary for lots of little reasons or big reasons, you know. So the wheels are in motion now for this to happen soon.
Looking forward to that, but you know what? We got to get through step 2 first, and so we're looking forward to getting a hold of the vinyl for The Stars Look Down. By all means, sir, we need you to keep up this great work, and I'm looking forward to seeing some pictures from RUSHFest Scotland, the new one. You guys are probably chomping at the bit for that.
Oh, we can't wait. It's let's say this one's been like 2 years in the making, you know, and we've got the original bands that were going to play 2-3 years ago, plus an extra performer, a young girl called Leonie Jane Kennedy. I'm in my tribute band's called Moving Pictures, and we played another Rush fan convention down in England in February, and at that same convention, I've known of Leonie for a couple of years, but I actually saw her in action that day, and she played an hour mainly of acoustic Rush. Phenomenal. I mean, it's always great to see young people get involved, and without wanting to come across as being sexist, but I mean, Rush has over the years mainly been a guy thing, you know, it's a geeky guy thing. But I'm glad to say that a lot more of female fans have come on board, and I mean the people at RushCon, which is like the main Rush fan convention in Canada and North America, it is run and all female. It's an all female cast. They run it, and they're wonderful. Gillian and Mary Jo, and so I hate even talking like this. It sounds a bit kind of derogatory, and I don't mean it to be at all. But it's wonderful. Leonie Jane, phenomenal singer-songwriter in her own right, a bit like Jacob Moon. She's doing her own thing, but when she does Rush, she brings her own interpretations to these songs, and she's going to be on Volume 3. There's another scoop.
Wow.
An acoustic version of, I won't say the song, but just her voice playing it, and she's a phenomenal guitarist as well. So she's now going to join us at RUSHFest Scotland in May.
That is fantastic.
So we're really excited.
Well, Steve Brown from RUSHFest Scotland, we are so looking forward to Volume 2 of this series, The Stars Look Down, Songs for Neil. A great tribute album for a great cause and lots of great music. Sir, thank you so much for doing this, and let's just keep this up, shall we?
Absolutely. Yeah, more to come. Thanks again, Jim. Absolute pleasure.
All right.